Ready, hot!
Talk about execution at this point. Are you executing where you want? Are you running enough plays, or are you running a number of plays that you want up to this point this season?
Yeah, I think up to this point in the season, we're starting to get into a pretty good flow of plays and execution and tempo, and we're figuring out who we kind of are. And I think we're doing a great job. Against Baylor, I think everybody played really well and did their job and did it to a pretty high level.
When you say who you are, go further. Who are you guys? I mean, what's your identity?
Now we're getting into 4 wide receiver sets, and we're using that quite a bit. And then we're going to get into when Trey and Damian are kind of in the game together and use 3 wide receivers that way. And so that's kind of where we've come to as an offense, and just kind of finding who we are and what we want to do on the field, and we're putting a lot of speed out there, and we're playing that way.
Your coach said that after the game he sensed a level of excitement about going to West Virginia, even though they've really struggled this year and been disappointing. Do you guys understand, this is a game that could make their season? Do you think you guys will appreciate that part of it?
Yeah, I think we've kind of always looked forward to this game just because they're new in our conference. I've never really played these guys. I've never been to Morgantown or anything like that. So I think everybody's really excited to go up there and play them.
Landry, you're getting ready to make, I guess, your 47th career start. What do you know now that maybe you didn't just going into the 30th?
I guess just more about the game, just flows of the game, and what plays need to be made and what plays that you check the ball down, or just different things along that. I feel like I have a better feel for the flow of the game and when critical drives need to be made and when the offense needs to step up and score touchdowns.
You playing better now than you played at any time in your career?
I think so. I think ever since, like we've been saying, since Texas Tech, I've been playing pretty consistently and at a high level. And sure, there's been some throws that I shouldn't have made, but I think at this point in my career, I think I'm definitely playing the best that I have been.
You guys seem to have been the same team here, at home, on the road, anywhere, maybe the first team in a while to really be able to do that. What have you guys figured out this year?
I think we're a pretty mature team on both sides of the ball. We have strong upperclassmen leaders on both sides of the ball, not just one guy here or there, but a good group of guys that are pushing this thing and pushing it in the right direction right now. So it's going to be a challenge for us to go to West Virginia and play well.
Does that help you in like Saturday where it's 28-26, that maturity, is that where that shows up?
Yeah, it just simple things like that, knowing that the offense needs to score and the offense needs to score touchdowns, and we did that all night long, and then when it's a tight ball game, knowing that we need to answer back with a touchdown of our own.
Bob had talked about as well as Ty had played, that maybe now they could even put Gabe in at guard a little bit. Can you just talk about what you've seen of him as a true freshman, what's kind of been special to you?
Just a special player. It takes somebody that's extremely talented to step in as a freshman into the offensive line, and especially the center position with all the calls that he has to make, all the identifications. And, Ty did a great job all night long. Sure, he had a couple offsides penalties, but, that's his first game, and things like that happen. But all in all, man, he played extremely well, and I think his maturity and Ty's faith really helped him this week, and I guess pushed him in the right direction and put him in a place where he could succeed.
Looked like his snaps were pretty consistent out of the shotgun, almost in the same place every time.
Yeah, that's just another thing that he does well. He's going to put the ball in the same place every time, and that's not even a question for us anymore. That's something that he does.
Landry, that group, I'm sure you appreciate them as much or more than anybody out there, but they've had so many injuries.
Yeah.
It's pretty special that they keep coming up with groups that continue to seem to do pretty well.
Yeah, the guys that are injured or aren't dinged up, they're playing through some stuff, and you know, whoever's out there seems to be getting the job done. You know, and this year we've at that offensive line position we've kind of been plagued by injuries, and it seems like, gosh, every year there's some group that goes down or something like that, and unfortunately for us, it's kind of been the offensive line, but. You know, those guys have done a great job persevering through that and pushing through some things that could have held other people back, but they've been great all year long of stepping up and making plays.
Landry, you have a guy in Kenny Stills who's basically, well, he started every game he's played. I guess, what makes him different from the rest of the wide receivers that you have?
I think Kenny's speed and his explosiveness separates him from some of the other guys that we have. He has a great job of using his speed and try to explain. I guess using leverage to help him out. Maybe stemming at a guy a certain way, or exploding off the ball, or chopping his feet in different ways that he uses to get separation. Just different from like a guy like Justin, who can use his size and different things like that. But Kenny does a great job of using his speed and using leverage to gain separation from people.
You a little bit shocked when you saw Sterling so wide open? I don't know if you had anybody that wide open all year in that 30-yard pass down the field.
Yeah, he was just kind of running down the sideline. I should have gave him a little better ball, and he might have scored.
You've been healthy your entire career. OSU's on its third quarterback this year. Other schools have had to patch it together. Why do you think you've been able to answer the call every Saturday?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is it just done well? You know, I mean,
for me, it's God keeping me safe on the field. I've taken a lot of big hits around this place, and I've never had a concussion. Never been really rolled up on, and yeah, I really attribute that to God and Him protecting me out there on the field. There's nothing more that I could say to kind of explain it, and I don't know. Even in high school, I've never missed a game, never got hurt, you know. So He's just kind of watched over me all these years.
Well, OU's done a great job of protecting the quarterbacks. Frankly, in a game where you might average 80 plays, how many times are you actually on the ground? 5, 6?
This year, not too many. I mean, that offensive line has done a really great job. I think in the last game, I only got sacked once, and I think that's the only time that I was really ever hit, you know. So those guys have been doing a fantastic job all year long.
What's the hardest you've ever been hit? Do you remember them?
2 times was, I think it was actually my first touchdown play. I think it was, I can't even remember who we were playing, but it was a redshirt freshman, and then last year at Iowa.
And when you see a defense that's struggling to the degree that West Virginia is that kind of, do you kind of lick your chops? I mean, it's obviously going to be a difficult atmosphere, but how does the offense? Is the offense excited about that kind of prospect?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's so different in each game. You know, you never know what in college football. You never know what you're going to get from anybody. You go out there thinking that you're going to play a really good defense, and for instance, like Texas. I mean, we weren't expecting to score that many points, but we executed and did a great job. And then you just never know what you're going to get from defenses. So you're always going to have to be prepared and be ready to play against whoever's going to come out there and what they're going to throw at you.
Landry, you said you've never had a concussion, but you've probably been around people who have. And even here at OU, how well educated are the players about concussions and head injuries and how to avoid them or recover from them?
I think they do a good job of educating us. I mean, in this game, I don't know if you can avoid having concussions. I mean, unless they start playing flag football, you're always going to have concussions. You're always going to have head injuries because it's a violent sport at nature, you know. So I don't know if you can avoid them, but I think with the equipment now that we have, they're giving us our best ability to avoid those things with the helmets and with the mouthpieces and all the things that we have available to us.
When you see the rules changing, the NFL, collegiate game, head-to-head hits, I wonder if your sense is, well, finally they should have been doing this, or is it just, oh, that's interesting, we'll move forward, or just what's your sense of what they're doing?
I don't know. I think it's just something that you move forward with. I'm sure as a defensive player, I mean, I don't think anybody thinks about not leading with their head or anything like that. You just kind of react, and maybe it puts the defense at a disadvantage or anything like that. But that's what the rules say, so we're going to try to abide by the rules, and we're going to try to play as cleanly as possible.
When you go in a game as a quarterback, do you ever go in a game thinking this guy's got a matchup advantage and I can maybe work him a little bit more? And if you start out that way, do they, like in the first quarter, this guy may be hot, but you go to another guy, is that them taking something away from you?
Yeah, you see different matchups. You see different things that you can exploit on defenses, and it's just one of those things. Inside the game plan, you have to find the matchups that you like, and you have to find the things that you like on the field. And then on Saturday, of course, everything could change. Defenses could change what they are doing, maybe to protect one guy or do something different. But you do see matchups, but as the course of the game goes, you just gotta play ball.
Landry, does it excite you to kind of see how different fan bases work as far as the atmosphere goes, or are you too focused on a game too?
No, I like going to different stadiums, and for me, I've never got to play at Morgantown, so I'm excited about going up there to see what it's like playing there.
What have you heard about it? Do you have any stories that anybody's told you or anything?
Have you ever set foot in West Virginia?
Never. I've never been to West Virginia.
Landry, Blake has a long touchdown run, and he threw the 4th down pass, and then he also had his mistake against Kansas State. So he's kind of getting a little bit, his identity is more now than it seems like than just the belldozer. How has that helped him maybe prepare for next year?
I mean, anytime you can get game experience, that's just huge for a quarterback, realizing the emotions that go into it and what it's really like to play an actual game. Practice is great, and you should practice hard and all that, but it's so much different until you get to game time.
The belldozer wasn't automatic in short yardage situations inside the 5. That's a bit different this season.
Yeah, I've been using it a little different, and last week we kind of got down there in the 5-yard line, and we stayed in and threw a touchdown pass, so that was just a little different mix-up for our offense.
You've obviously had your fair share of criticism, but after he made his mistake against Kansas State, how did you see him respond to that, and did you talk to him at all about maybe how to get over it?
Yeah, it's just one of those things that he just kind of learned from it and moved on from it, and I think he did a great job of responding to it. And there's certain plays that need to be made in certain different games, and sure, we'd like to have that one back, but it's gone now. But Blake did a great job of responding to it and realizing what kind of player he is.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.